Where are you on this process? I know that you've had some chance to have some conversations. So where do we go from here?
Well, I do think when you ask what the conversation is in Washington, D.C., there's this moment of conversation about what's transpired with the president and his wife with COVID. But the basic story today, the basic story yesterday, and will be for the next few weeks, is about the confirmation, the hearings of, and then potential confirmation of Amy Coney Barrett. The judge I met with yesterday, and pleased by what I knew about her before meeting with her, a very qualified, exemplary seeming individual. Hearings are expected to start during the week of the 12th in the Senate Judiciary Committee, chaired by Chairman Lindsey Graham. And in the interim, I think the Democrats, Senator Schumer in particular, are doing everything they can to slow the process down, make it burdensome, make it difficult for the Senate to do other things. So it's a full-fledged kind of knockdown, drag-out between Republicans and Democrats in trying to move forward. But I would report to Kansans and to Missourians, to folks in our listening audience, that Judge Amy Coney Barrett was very impressive in our conversation. This is the third time I've been involved in the confirmation of a Supreme Court justice during my time in the United States Senate. I've asked each of them this basic question: is what I'm looking for is a person who will look at the law, look at the facts, and make a determination, and not try to legislate beyond what the law says. Don't try to change the outcome. When there are problems with what the law is, it's up to Congress on behalf of the American people to make the change, not the position, not the opportunity for a judge with a lifetime appointment to the Supreme Court. So will you interpret the law as it's written, as it's understood, as it's intended, and not go to outside trying to make your will the law of the land? And I received that confirmation from Judge Barrett. And I had the opportunity to try to further explore how did she reach that kind of philosophy in her life? Why does she think that way? And she indicated she is a student, a mentee, if that's the right word. Justice Scalia was a mentor for her, and that also is very encouraging.
Senator Jerry Moran is on KCMO Talk Radio. So, Senator, on that note, you mentioned the October 12th start date, which is the date that we have heard. But as of right now, with the news this morning regarding the president's positive test, and who knows, like you said, how that contact tracing could affect some folks in the Senate, you're not hearing anything, and there's no anticipation of that having to be delayed as of right now?
Well, I was thinking that even before the announcement of the president's positive test, that having a healthy Senate is important for the hearings to occur. I would guess that the way things have shaped up, that it is almost always going to be, even just in the process, in the way of getting things done, of moving forward, straight party line vote. And those numbers are no more than 1 or 2 difference between Republicans and Democrats on the committee.
Yeah.
And so every senator needs to be present, needs to be participating. And so, I mean, every day is a new day when it comes to COVID, and things could change. But as of now, the expectation is that the hearings will occur that week.
Mm-hmm. Senator, take me through something else here. As you mentioned your meetings with Amy Coney Barrett, what is something that in your conversations with her, something that you didn't know that maybe we haven't heard as much about in the media about Amy Coney Barrett that really impressed you even further than what the reports have been about her background?
Well, certainly her demeanor. I mean, you can read what a person says, you can see it, hear it on the radio, but meeting her and having the assurance that what she is reported to believe seems sincere. Just there's a ability to hear and listen to somebody in the same room, to have the ability to judge their credibility. And she certainly was credible in what she said. I would say that one thing that caught my attention is that she's been very interested as a judge in Social Security cases. And that's something that normally an administrative judge in a kind of a perfunctory way makes a decision about whether someone is entitled to a disability benefit under Social Security, for example. And Judge Barrett has taken those seriously and reviewed them to make sure that justice or fairness is occurring, that the law is being followed. And that pleases me because it suggests to me that she has an interest in everyday people, if there is such a phrase that describes who people are, that people who are in difficult circumstances where Social Security makes a difference in their lives, where they're disabled. She's taken an interest as a judge in making sure that the administrative law judges are doing the right thing under the law and for the people. Mm-hmm. Most judges, I would guess, or in many cases, judges would be above that kind of circumstance of worrying about an appeal of a Social Security case. I also would say that one of the things I was able to confirm was I have an interest in making sure that the Midwest, that not every justice comes from some Ivy League law school, not all with the backgrounds of those that in many ways are considered more elite in our country. And Coney Barrett, Judge Barrett, came across to me somebody who is from Indiana, who is from the Midwest, who went to a regional law school, Notre Dame. And I asked her to encourage young lawyers to be clerks that don't necessarily come from Yale and Harvard and other law schools that are considered the cream of the crop. Would you take a look at having clerks, for example, in your office that are from the University of Kansas? And would you make a practice of visiting law schools that are and talking to lawyers, talking to law students that aren't necessarily in the Ivy League law school? And so I was looking for that more common touch, that more Midwest value, the kind of people that grow up in Kansas and apparently grow up in Indiana. I think they bring something to public policy, to who they are as human beings, that's very valuable to the nation.
No doubt about it. Senator Jerry Moran on KCMO Talk Radio. Senator, thank you so much for being here, spending a few minutes with us, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much for the time. I appreciate it.
Pete, you're very welcome. Thank you.
You bet. There you go. Senator Jerry Moran is on KCMO Talk Radio.